Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today in Watcher of Realms and kinda Raid Shadow Legends too. Today I'm going to compare both games because it's impossible as a player coming from Raid, and I know a lot of my audience is also coming from Raid. By the way, if you're not coming from Raid Shadow Legends in my Raid channel, I would love to hear from you guys. Interesting to see if I'm getting any organic kind of viewers here on the channel yet after like a week or two of uploading on the new channel. I have to say it's going really well thus far. I'm so into the game. And the cool thing is I'm still into Raid. Like it's not like I'm quitting Raid and putting all my time into Watcher of Realms. I love both the games, and I feel like they're perfect tandem to kind of play alongside each other as well, because they're different enough, but also similar enough to where you can really enjoy both of them. So that's why I love it so much, because I wasn't looking for a replacement for Raid. I was just looking for something to play alongside of it. So I have both of my accounts here on today's video being featured. And what I want to do is, I'm not meant to, the thesis of this video is not to pick the better game between the two. It's really to pick the best things that I love about Raid that I wish Watchers had, or excuse me, the best thing about Watcher of Realms that I wish that Raid had. So I'm going to start with the pros of Raid Shadow Legends first, and then we'll get to the pros of Watcher after that. So I want to start out by saying, though, just the best thing about like these two games is the game to play totally different, right? Where you're obviously putting your heroes on the tiles, a lot of strategy involved, which we'll cover more in a little bit. But the upgrading system and kind of the different areas of the game, from PvP in the arena to faction wars and faction trial, to how we gear our champions, how we roll up our gear, how we upgrade our champions, feeding champions, motions, ascensions, all that is the same. You can kind of draw all those parallels, so it's really easy to pick up either or game. If you're a Watcher player and you never played Raid, it's easy to pick up both of these games and understand kind of how things work pretty quickly, kind of pick up where you left off on the other game, or play both simultaneously as we discussed. So in terms of things I like better about Raid, well, to be fair, Raid has been around for years and years and years longer than Watcher of Realms, so it's very unfair to compare in terms of like, there's a lot more to do in Raid, but it's also the truth, right? There's a lot more to do in Raid. There's, you know, Doom Tower with 8 different bosses. There is several different clan bosses, Hydra, regular Demon Lord, more factions in the game, right? They have more dungeons in the game, way more dungeons, way more things to do in Raid overall. Now that could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, because a lot of things to do takes up a lot of our time. And oftentimes I'll look at areas like, I don't know, Iron Twins. It's not even enjoyable. Sure, there's a lot more to do. That's great, but if it's not enjoyable, it's not, right? The biggest thing I have to say that I love about Raid that I hate about Watcher, because now that I have this, I'm so spoiled by it, and I really hope they add it to Watcher of the Realms. It's a quality of life thing, but it's major, and that is instant artifact upgrades, right? We can go all the way to level 16 in one click with the instant upgrade. Oh boy, I hate how tedious it is now going back to the way things used to be for years in Raid, where we have to go through a piece of gear here. So let me just pick up any piece of gear and basically wait for it to roll every single level. So enhance, I can auto enhance, but again, I have to wait for all the failures, especially as you get to higher levels. It can be like a few minute process or more just to level up one piece of gear, right? So I hate that, or enhance one piece of gear. So that's the biggest thing I really hope they add, is instant artifact upgrades to Watcher of Realms, right? Pros for Raid, another pro is going to be clan boss strategy, right? So in Raid Shadow Legends, there's a lot of strategy, you know, on different types of compositions you can build around like crucial and different champions in the game for both of the clan boss versions, right? For Demon Lord and for Hydra. I say that because there's just a lot more strategy involved, particularly around clan boss in Raid Shadow Legends, both of them, again. Whereas in Watcher of the Realms, there is some strategy involved, especially as you progress. So I don't want to just poo-poo it as a mid-game player right now, saying there's no strategy. There's different team comps, there's different things that you can do. But even with that said, It's nothing like Raid. It's nothing like certainly Hydra Clan Boss. Again, to be fair, Raid has had years and years of more development time, right? And it wasn't like this in the beginning. Considering it's just the beginning of Watchers, they actually have a ton more than Raid did in the beginning of the life cycle of Raid, right? But then again, devil's advocate, they've been able to look at games like Raid and pick the things that work, over the last few years of Raid. Whereas Raid was kind of, in a lot of ways, coming up with some of these ideas. Not all, because they borrowed from Summoners War and other games like that. I digress. But I guess I would really hope that eventually the guild boss can be a little bit more strategic, I would say, right? Different compositions, different strategy and stuff like that. I think that a lot of people really get into clan boss / guild boss, so I'd like to see them make some meaningful improvements there. In terms of Raid, there is a lot more champions, obviously. A lot more characters, a lot more heroes, a lot more reasons to upgrade heroes as well, right? And in Raid, there's a lot more good rares. In Watcher of Realms, there's only a few. There's like maybe arguably 3 to 5 rares that are even worth putting any resources into. Whereas in Raid Shadow Legends, I mean, some of the best champions in the entire game are rare champions, right? Like in the end game of Raid Shadow Legends, Koltar is still one of the more used champions in PvE content. There is not really any heroes like that. For the most part in Watchers, you pull a rare. There's not even that many rares, right? But if you pull a rare, 9 times out of 10, maybe even more than that, it's just not going to be anything. It's not going to be anything you're going to be excited about, right? So the diversity of champions and heroes in Raid, a lot more, right? And a lot more good, serviceable rares that you can upgrade for a little bit more affordable resources, in Raid, meaning that, they cost less. It's less expensive. Same thing with Watcher, to upgrade lower rarity champions and or heroes. Whereas in Watcher, I mean, you're basically upgrading 99% epics and legendaries. Next up, guys, is going to be PvP. In Raid Shadow Legends, I think there's a more robust PvP system. Listen, some people love Live Arena, some people hate Live Arena, and it took them 40 years to come out with Live Arena, to be fair, right? But at the same time, I feel like PvP, even just the classic 4-on-4, like classic PV, I'm not even gonna compare it to Live Arena. I do feel like it's faster, right? It's easier to kind of farm Live Arena in Raid Shadow Legends, or excuse me, regular Arena in Raid Shadow Legends. Whereas it's a little bit longer, maybe a little bit on the tedious side at sometimes in Watcher of Realms in terms of the PvP. Like, you can't blow through a match really quickly, and it feels different just to have your champions against the opponent's champions, and that's it, right? It really does feel, even though it's not real time right now, it feels like PvP. Whereas it's a lot different in Watcher of Realms, and I'm not really saying one is better or worse, right? Because I think that some people are going to prefer Watcher of Realms. It's more of a race in Watcher of Realms versus actually going to battle with the other heroes that you're going against. So let me just... I'll put on an auto fight in the background, but for those of you who are unfamiliar, maybe some Raid viewers just clicking on this video, just out of curiosity, you're basically racing against the other team to defend kind of your portal or whatever it is, and against waves of enemies, right? So you deploy your heroes to try to defend, try to keep that alive, simultaneously trying to kill all the enemies before your opponent does. So it's different. But I feel like when you add tag team, even though it's not popular in Raid, just different modes basically, right? I feel like it's a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more, it feels like real PvP, going against their team versus a race against the other team here in Watcher of Realms. And that's all I have for the pros on the Raid Shadow Legends side. So now I'm going to talk about the things that I love from Watcher of Realms that I wish Plarium would institute to Raid Shadow Legends, okay?
Oh, finally.
The first thing is, and I can talk about this while we watch this arena battle here, is it is way easier to get good heroes, right? To get good heroes in this game, it's insane. The events are generally better in terms of summoning events, and they give you a lot of really good free heroes. Now, Raid does too, but they're like predicated on you actually playing the game during the time the champion was released, right? Whereas you're guaranteed to get your hands on some really good endgame heroes, specifically the marksmen, specifically Wrath, in the early game as logins, right? And then you're guaranteed a legendary early on, and you can basically re-roll your account until you get a really good one, right? So I feel like the hero pool is a lot more limited in Watcher of Realms, but there's actually a lot of really good accessible heroes that will help you way into the end game, that it just feels a lot less RNG based versus Raid Shadow Legends, where you could play for years and years and years.
2,000 years later.
And years and years and years and never get your hands on some of the powerful champions. Now, upgrading is a massive, massive benefit in Watcher of Realms. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. You know, in Raid, right? You want to upgrade a champion in Raid Shadow Legends, man. You got to go into the tavern, and it's arduous to say the least. You got to go in there, you got to level up a champion all by hand. You got to farm in the campaign. You got to come in here or give them brews, and then you got to max them out. You got to upgrade their level.
Stop it. Get some help.
And then you gotta find the chickens, you gotta, or the champions, you gotta come in here, you gotta, I'm really butchering this, aren't I, guys? But you know the drill, right? Let me just waste my potions on Ox. We go to upgrade rank, you have to come down, feed the chickens, upgrade, do it all over again. That's just one champion, right? That's just one champion. Whereas in Watcher of Realms, man, they have something called the Quick Star Up. Oh my god, when I saw this feature, I was like, oh my god. So you just have right on the left-hand side, oh, I have 11 available 2 to 3 stars. Quick star up, boom. Oh, there we go. They've all been starred up. All that work that would probably take me a half an hour in Raid Shadow Legends, I did in one little click or one little tap. Oh, I have 2, 3 to 4 stars. Oh, okay, quick star up, boom. Oh, look at this. I have 4 to 5 stars, 2 available. Quick star up. There it is, done. That's it. I just, like, that is so amazing. It almost makes up for the no instant artifact upgrade in this game. Oh, guys, and I almost forgot. I should probably mention one of the biggest differences in favor of Watcher of Realms is, well, you can swap out your gear for free. I am still getting used to that. So we can just take it right off one hero and put it on the other, and there is no charge. Wow, I can't believe it. Another big thing about Watcher of Realms is, frankly, way better events, man. I mean, they have a redemption shop. You can get the good stuff, like the equivalent of, and you have the autonomy to choose what you want to buy in a lot of events in this game as well, right? I really think the rewards are much better, generally speaking. Again, sometimes there's a shop. It depends on what's going on inside the game. Sometimes it's very traditional, like you're seeing right here in terms of the event hall. But man, oh man, oh man, the rewards they give you through events and tournaments in this game tend to be a little bit easier to get and a lot better to get. And they have quite a few going on, like more than Raid, all the time, I found so far early on, Now, I want to be fair too to Raid, because I have not been playing, I've only been playing this game for a couple months. It's only been out for a few months. So I don't know if this is just because of the launch or anything like that, or this is what we can expect going forward in Watcher of Realms. But they throw way more, Raid throws a lot of resources at you as a new account in the game. But after a month or so, even a couple weeks of playing, you start drying up, right? But I've been sitting on plenty of gold, plenty of stamina to do what I want to do to explore the game, even into the mid game of Watcher of Realms. I think it's a lot more low spender friendly and a bit more free to play friendly than Raid. Now, okay, at the same time, they're both gacha games. I want to be totally real with you. They both have pop-up ads. They're both trying to get you to buy limited time offers and stuff like that. So I'm not here to say that it's a free to play game per se, but I think it's a bit more less arduous of a process to play as a free-to-play player in Watcher of Realms versus Raid Shadow Legends. Now, I am not free to play on either of these games, but this is what you guys tell me in the comments, right? I'm talking like dozens of comments saying that, not just one or two. Furthermore, we had Ivy Lee and Boomer both come on, other content creators saying the same thing. So I'm not just based that on my own, like, just intuition or anything like that. Now, the best thing that I saved for last on Watcher of Realms, guys, and it's just the social element of this freaking game, man. Like, I see stuff like this, like, okay, we got achievements and stuff like that, all kinds of different achievements that you can collect medals for and stuff like that. But I really like the Hall of Honor. You can go in here, you get your medals, your achievements, and you can choose what you want to put on display in your own hall. And then another player coming to look at your profile. Let me look at somebody in my guild's profile here, right? You can show off all your stuff, right? And your best times and everything. There's something about that, like, first of all, it seems so obvious, right? But Zelmort, for example, right? So he's showing off a couple of his medals right here. But then best records, I can go in here and check out all of his stuff here. I can check out his challenges. I can check out his campaign and resources. I can check out his tides and trials. I can go in there, see how many waves they've done in the tide. There's a lot more in terms of just social element of the game, and it just got released. Furthermore, this is something that I never thought ever that I would enjoy, but I like the friends list of this game, right? Not only can you chat with people, I'm not a big chatter at all. Sorry if I have not responded to you. I've added everybody. I think my friends list is at capacity now. I'm not a big chatter. I don't like get into my video games to just chit chat with people, but you can give gifts and give assistance. And there's this big, robust system of how you can support your friends inside the game, and you get rewards for doing so. Why doesn't Raid have this, man? I mean, and it makes it so much easier to recruit for your clan or your guild. I mean, there's so many benefits of having friends, being able to give your friends free stuff, right? Can I accept all here? I'm at my capacity on friends. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. But friend assist, you can put out your heroes as well to assist your friends in battle. I mean, that would be so cool to have in Raid. So I think the social element, the friends, the assistance, the gifts and giving gifts, I think that is all next level. It seems super low-hanging fruit, obvious stuff to add to Raid Shadow Legends as well. In terms of things that were hard to compare, initially I was going to say that Watcher of Realms was a bit more strategically oriented in terms of placement and, you know, like the level of depth that it gets into in the end game. But I don't want to be biased either, because Raid felt like that to me at one point. But now that I've been playing it for years and years, I don't want to discount the strategic elements of Raid Shadow Legends just because I'm super more acquainted of them. So I will say TBD on that. Intuitively, it feels like there's a bit more strategy involved in Watcher of Realms compared to Raid, but again, I reserve the right to change my mind there as I progress more in this game. So guys, let me know how you feel. Hopefully this is a good kind of, I don't know, comparison of the two games to players who maybe haven't played much Watcher of Realms, or to maybe some Watcher players who haven't played Raid Shadow Legends. Guys, thanks so much for watching until the end, and as always, take care, guys.